So once upon a time, I was in my bedroom and I was reading a book, and the book was so powerful. And you know, those sorts of books that you get so excited and you burn because they're just so amazing. Well, when I read a book, I have to read it out loud so I can remember it. So I'm reading this book and I'm saying it, and I'm using the most passionate voice and the most exciting tone. It's like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and suddenly I hear at my window, and I'm like, who the heck is knocking at my window? And I was like, am I just imagining it? And I continue to read my book, putting the voice back on, reading passionately again, and then I hear it again. Ignore the dog barking, he actually thinks someone's there. And I'm like, hello? And so I go to the window and I hear, it's the police, open the door. And I'm thinking, what the heck? I live in a dodgy area. There is no way that I am even believing that someone knocking on my window at night is a policeman and I need to open the door. So I walk up to the window, I open the blind just so carefully to have a look through to see if it's the police, and it actually was. They've got their torch, they're blaring it in my eyes, and there's like all these cops outside, and I'm like, what the heck? So I get out of bed, putting on my dressing gown and feeling a little bit embarrassed because they could hear everything I was reading out in my beautiful, powerful reading voice. I go to the front door and they said, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just reading my book. Are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. Thinking, what the heck is happening? And they're like, is anyone else in the house? And I'm like, yeah, my son's here. And they're like, is he okay? I'm like, yeah, he's fine. And they're like, we've got a call, someone's called us, it's an anonymous caller, and they have told us that there's someone here who is unalived. And I'm like, what? I said, I don't think so. And they're like, well, we've been given a call and the person was quite frantic, and there must be, they are sure that they saw something. And I am like, what are you talking about? And I couldn't work out what was even happening. And I'm like, I'm a minister, maybe someone got my number and they're giving a prank call. And then I thought, no, that wouldn't work because my number doesn't tell you where I live and nobody knows where I live. And I'm like, where did it come from? And we're sitting here like, you know, private investigators trying to figure it out. And they're like, can I please come in and have a look? I'm like, there's nothing going on. They're like, please, just for our peace of mind, can you let us come in and have a look? I'm like, yeah, cool, no worries, come in and have a look. The guy ends up telling me the address of the person, and I realized that's the street behind me. And then I'm thinking, well, why are they calling? They must see something from behind out the back. And so as we walked into my son's room, it all made sense to me. And I'm like, oh no. So I said, come out here. And so we all run outside. By this time, the ambos have rocked up. And we get out the back. The fire brigade's here too. As I was leading the pack out the back, I see the neighbor at the back fence. And I realized exactly what was going on. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, oh my gosh, she must have been in intense trauma. Her adrenaline must have been going. To be able to call 000 because you think somebody has unalived themselves. And you're standing at the back of your property looking where you think this has happened. I turn around, look at the window, look at the direction she's looking, and I see this, what appears to be a horrifying sight. I'll put the picture here. Turns out my son had decided to start weightlifting. And so my sister, who's a personal trainer, gave him a power rack. So he's got this power rack in his room and is doing his weights. And I decided I needed to hang up my jacket to dry. And so I put my jacket on the top of his power rack on a coat hanger to dry because the heater would be blowing on it and it's not in the way. When he had his light on all night and through the blinds. Oh, actually, I probably shouldn't do this because there's my coat and there's the blinds. I'm going to move that in a minute. Through the blinds, it looked like a person had put up a rope, and you know what? I was horrified. I went to the lady and I was just overly apologetic. I said to the police, I am so sorry, because they were on the end of their shift. They were about to go home and then they ended up at my house because of this sudden emergency. And they said, we have had the craziest night. It's okay. Please don't feel bad. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. They're like, please do not feel bad. This is the best possible outcome for us. and I just thank them. I tell them they're doing an amazing job and walk them outside the house. I get out the front and they're all there. Ambulance, a couple of police, fire brigade, on my front lawn, lights flashing, radios going off, and all I could think about was they saw me in my pajamas and they heard my powerful reading voice.